Hello children, in this video we'll learn about a new chapter called Outcomes of Democracy. So in this chapter, children, one thing I want to ask you, what is the meaning of outcomes? Outcomes means the results, the consequences. What are the things which are expected out of democracy? So in this chapter, we will learn certain aspects of the outcomes of democracy. There is a standard question being asked in board exams. A couple of times this question was asked. The question is about democracy produces an accountable, responsive, and legitimate government. The question can be framed like this: democracy produces an accountable, responsive, and legitimate government. Explain. So, we will be definitely explaining about what does accountable mean, what does responsive mean, what does legitimate mean. So about this question, this is a very good question, a standard question in this chapter. So the point number one you'll be you'll be writing about. The first point is about accountable government. You know, which government can be called as accountable government? Accountable government is a government which is answerable or which is required to justify its actions and decisions. Whatever decisions are being taken up by the government will be answerable to people. The government has to justify people about their decisions, how useful those decisions are, how far useful those decisions are for the society. They are going to answer to people. Who's going to answer? The government, the ruling party, the government is going to answer this. That's why this government is called accountable government. Accountable government is a government which exists in a democratic system only. The point number two, children, in a democratic system or in a democratic form of government, the government is a responsive government. What does it mean? Responsive government is a government which responds positively to the needs and aspirations of the people. People have a lot of hope and aspiration about the government, that government would be doing, government would be supporting people, and people will be lifted up in the society if they need some kind of help. And basically the people, those who are helpless, those who are financially, economically backward class people, or those who face caste discrimination, those who have low standard of living in the society. So most of these kind of people, they have hope and aspiration from the government, the present government, the ruling party which has formed the government, would be fulfilling the needs or would be helping out people to come up in the society. So a democratic government is a responsive government, is the expectation. This is the outcomes of the democracy, is that the democratic government is a responsive government. The point number 1 was accountable government. Point number 2, responsive government. And a democratic government is a legitimate government. What does it mean? What does it mean by what is the meaning of legitimate government? Legitimate government is a government which works according to the laws of the land. People, those who are in the government, those who are holding position in the government, they all have to follow our constitution. They have to respect our constitution. They have to work according to the laws of this land. And at the same time, the citizens are free to know about the decision-making procedure of the government. So, democratic government is a transparent government. The people have the right to know the procedure of decision-making. So, children, for this question especially, democracy produces accountable, responsive and legitimate government. You are supposed to mention these 3 main points. Point number 1, accountable government. Point number 2, responsive government. Point number 3, legitimate government. Under accountable government, you'll mention about that the government is answerable to people for its actions and decisions. Under point number 2, responsive government, under this point you'd be mentioning in a simple manner that responsive government, the government responds positively, in a positive manner, to the needs of the people. And the policies, the actions of the government should be acceptable by the people. And point number 3, under point number 3 is a legitimate government. Under this point, you are supposed to mention that the government works as per the laws of the land, as per the constitution. That should be transparency in the government. People have the right to know the decision-making procedure. So these are the points you are supposed to mention. So this is a very good question, and this question was asked a few times in the board question paper, in the board exam. So children, I hope this question is understood by all of you. This is a simple question, but you need to mention in a very simple manner under these 3 points. I hope you have understood this question, and definitely I am going to make more videos on some other important questions, other standard questions. So in my next video, I will talk about another aspect or another concept from this chapter, outcomes of democracy. So children, I hope you have liked the video and you have understood the concept very well. Okay children, thank you so much.